Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders Report, where we bleed silver and black every single day. I'm your host, bringing you the latest from the heart of Raider Nation. Now picture this. It's a crisp October evening in 2025, and the Las Vegas Raiders are staring down the barrel of a make-or-break moment. Have you ever wondered what it takes for a storied franchise like the Raiders to rise from the ashes? Well, today, we're diving deep into why this team's roster might be on the verge of a major shakeup. Buckle up, folks, it's going to be a wild ride.
Let's set the scene right off the bat. The Raiders have kicked off this 2025 season with a bit of a thud, coming out flat and sitting at a precarious 2-4 record heading into Week 7. Their showdown against the Kansas City Chiefs? Oh man, that's not just any game. It's a road warrior battle against their fiercest AFC West rivals, the back-to-back Super Bowl champs led by that wizard Patrick Mahomes. If the Raiders can't pull off this upset at Arrowhead Stadium, they'll drop to 2-5. And let me tell you, in a division as stacked as the AFC West, with the Chargers powering through with Justin Herbert's cannon arm and the Broncos rebuilding under their new regime, that's like sounding the alarm bells for Raider Nation. Playoff hopes. They'd be hanging by a thread, if not completely shattered. But hey, this is the Raiders we're talking about, a team built on grit, rebellion, and that iconic pirate spirit. Can they channel their inner Al Davis and just win, baby? Now, let's break down the heart of this story. According to sports analyst Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports, the Raiders could be eyeing some serious roster moves if things go south against the Chiefs. Kerr's piece highlights trade candidates across the league, and right at the top for wide receivers? None other than our own Jakobi Meyers. Yeah, you heard that right. Meyers, who's been the steady hand in Vegas' passing game, is in the final year of his contract and could be the perfect plug-and-play for a contender needing a reliable number 2 option. Through 6 games, he's racked up 329 receiving yards, averaging a solid 11.3 yards per catch. Not flashy numbers, but efficient, right? Kerr puts it perfectly. Meyers is an instant upgrade if a team needs a number 2 wide receiver. The top wideout in Vegas, Meyers has 329 receiving yards and is averaging 11.3 yards per catch, but would benefit from playing on a playoff-caliber roster. Ouch, that stings a bit for us Raiders fans. But it's the cold truth of the NFL business. Diving deeper into the analysis, Meyers has been a revelation since joining the Raiders back in 2023. Coming from the Patriots, where he was undervalued in that gritty New England system, he exploded last season with over 1,000 yards, proving he can be a legit WR1 when the spotlight's on him. His route running, surgical precision, folks. He glides through zones, finds those soft spots in the middle of the field, and opens up opportunities for the rest of the offense. Think about it. In a league where defenses are stacking the box against running backs like Zamir White or whoever's carrying the load this year, having a guy like Meyers who can win one-on-one matchups is gold. But if the Raiders lose to the Chiefs, that bye week afterward becomes prime time for GM Tom Telesco to wheel and deal. Why keep a veteran like Meyers when you've got young guns waiting in the wings? Guys like Trey Tucker, with his blazing speed, or maybe a rookie sensation from the draft class, they're chomping at the bit for more snaps. Trading Meyers could net a mid-round pick or even a defensive piece to bolster that Max Crosby-led front line, which, by the way, has been sacking quarterbacks at a furious pace but needs more depth to handle the AFC's elite. Speaking of the defense, let's not forget what makes the Raiders tick. Max Crosby, that relentless edge rusher with a motor that never quits. He's already got double-digit sacks in his career highs, and this season, he's on pace to shatter records. Pair him with Christian Wilkins in the interior, and you've got a defensive line that's straight out of the Raiders' glory days, reminiscent of Howie Long and the fearsome fronts of the 80s. But offensively, it's been inconsistent. Our quarterback, whether it's Aiden O'Connell stepping up or a new face under center, has shown flashes, but without consistent protection and weapons, it's tough sledding. Injuries haven't helped either. Remember last week's tweak to the O-line that left us vulnerable? That's the kind of stuff that turns potential wins into heartbreaking losses. To put this in historical context, the Raiders have been here before. Flashback to their Oakland roots in the 1960s, founded as part of the AFL with that maverick owner Al Davis at the helm. They moved to Los Angeles in '82, won a Super Bowl there in '83 against Washington. Marcus Allen's legendary reverse run for a touchdown still gives me chills. Then back to Oakland in '95, and finally to the glitz of Las Vegas in 2020, where Allegiant Stadium became the Death Star of the NFL, with its black hole vibe and that passionate Raider Nation filling the stands. Rivalries. Don't get me started on the Chiefs, dating back to the AFL days, with epic battles like the 1970 playoff game where the Raiders knocked out Kansas City. Or the Chargers, those SoFi Stadium showdowns that always feel like a West Coast war. And the Broncos, Mile High Magic versus Vegas Vice, pure drama. Statistically, compare this to past seasons. In 2021, under interim coach Rich Bisaccia, the Raiders snuck into the playoffs at 10-7 despite mid-season chaos. Last year, 2024, they hovered around .500 but missed the cut. Now, at 2-4, their point differential is negative, turnovers are up, and third down conversions are abysmal, sitting at just 35% compared to the league-leading Chiefs at over 45%. If they drop to 2-5, it's a death sentence, as Kerr notes, in this loaded AFC where wild cards go to teams like the Bengals or Steelers battling it out. Historically, teams starting 2-5 make the playoffs less than 5% of the time. Grim odds, but hey, miracles happen in football. Now, imagine if I could grab a quick chat with the team. Let's say I caught up with head coach Antonio Pierce post-practice. Fictional, of course, but based on his fiery style. He'd probably say something like, "Look, Raider Nation, we're not done yet. Jacoby's a warrior, but this is about building for the future. If we beat KC, we're right back in it, 3-4 into the bye, retool and charge. But if not, we've got to make tough calls. Max and the boys on D are ready to feast. It's on us to match that energy." Or picture Meyers himself, that understated pro, "I've loved my time in Vegas. The fans are electric, the stadium's a fortress. But if a trade happens, I'll go ball out wherever. Route running's my game, I open fields like nobody else." And from a die-hard fan in the black hole? Man, trading Meyers? It hurts, but if it gets us picks for a stud corner or another weapon for our QB, I'm all in. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Looking ahead, the implications are huge. A win over the Chiefs? Momentum surges. They head into the bye at 3-4, maybe sneak a wild card if they rattle off a few in a row against softer opponents like the Bengals or Saints later. Playoff picture? The AFC West crown might still be in play if KC slips up. But a loss. Shakeup City. Trading Meyers during the bye could fetch assets for the 2026 draft, where they're eyeing top prospects at positions of need. Long-term, it signals a rebuild. Focus on youth, shore up the secondary, maybe even draft a franchise QB if the current one doesn't pan out. Expert opinions? Analysts like Kerr see Meyers landing with a contender like the Ravens or Eagles, where he'd complement stars like Lamar Jackson. Pop culture tie-in, it's like that scene in Moneyball where the A's trade away pieces to rebuild, smart, if painful. Or think of the Raiders' move to Vegas, blending football with Sin City's lights, much like how Meyers